What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. Whew. Don't take a power nap, y'all. Don't take a power nap before you got to come on live because it take you a minute or so to pull yourself together. Anyway, y'all, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I don't know if it's an option, but if it is, go ahead and hype me up. We over here, it's Friday night. I don't know what you're doing. Hopefully you're over here, listening to me. If you're in your car, if you're cooking your Friday dinner, picking up a pizza, whatever you're doing, go ahead. Like I said, like the video and let's get into this conversation that is Love is Blind. Have y'all been watching Love is Blind? Whew. This has been one interesting season. I'll say that. This is, I think, more accurate probably than what happens in most places because Love is Blind. The idea of blindly marrying somebody after few weeks is ridiculous. So I feel like none of these people are getting married. And if that's the case, then we right on track. Where did we start? We left off with these people at the rodeo. They was at the rodeo. Edmund was in trouble and Nick was in trouble, even though he didn't know he was in trouble. Who else? Yeah, so everybody was over there getting a little tipsy, apparently, because that's what you do when you go down to the rodeo. You have a few drinks, get a little tipsy, and you come back to your apartment. Annie and Nick did. They went back to their apartment. Annie was not just tipsy. Annie felt like she was kind of toe up. Annie was toe up from the flow up. She was like, give me a kiss. I need another kiss. I'm sorry, I can't look at Annie without looking at them roots. And I'm like, Annie, how long you been back in Denver? Y'all been back in Denver for a good minute. You had the man down there putting up, construction and doing man things down there at the beauty salon. You don't have a time to put a couple, just a little root touch up. Girl, it's about to be a whole situation. Jeez, one of them stylists down there? Anyway, I just, have an issue with Annie running around here with this many roots. This is a few months. This isn't even like a few weeks. This is a while. Annie been walking around for a while with bad roots. Talking about she's a hair salon owner. I'm surprised Nick's mama didn't call her out for that and go, girl, you back in town now. Please get your roots done. That's a good way to bond. Go ahead and run through Nick's mama's salon. Don't worry about it because you and Nick are not going to be a thing of the future. Annie sat up there because at the rodeo, the people were talking about Nick and how he's fake. She sat up there. She did not take one single moment to ask him, why do people feel that way? This is a conversation. Drunk people aren't good at conversations. So she back at the conversation. She did ask about Kate. She was sober enough to remember that there was another woman that was his first choice. And, she needed to know about that. He said it went well. We had a conversation. I explained to her like how challenging it was for me to be having these types of feelings, for two people at the same time. And, she took everything well. That ain't what happened, but, that's what happened at the rodeo. But Nick, I don't know why these people don't like Nick. I don't like Annie. So there's that. We've been all out here speculating, and I haven't been speculating. I said straight out, I think all the kids are queer. So again, whatever Nick is doing, he's chosen a wife. No, he didn't. He turned her down. Anyway, Annie starts to do this thing where she questions, I just don't think like you love me as much as I love you. I'm just in this so much. I just love you so much. I've never loved anyone in this whole wide world as much as I love you. This is concerning. I don't believe in these feelings. I don't believe in these immediate feelings. I believe that you can definitely build an attraction to someone inside of a pod. And you hope and pray that, these people are somebody that you're attracted to in real life. We're going to assume that because somebody is attractive, that means you're attracted to them. And that's not necessarily the case. You could see somebody and they're attractive enough, you know what I'm saying, or very attractive, but the energy don't match. So, an attractiveness is subjective based on the person. You know what I'm saying? You could get in a situation, like I said, and the person is attractive to you, but you're not attracted to them. So once you have this connection in the pod and you want to learn more, which I think is very important. Honestly, I feel like the connection, the mental connection, the conversations and all of that stuff, definitely you have a stronger chance of staying together than you would if you just over here in a pod. But hey, this is the way they laid it out for us. Nick is frustrated. He tired of her saying that. I love you. What are you talking about? You love me more than I don't love you as much, or whatever the hell her drunk ass was over there saying. Nick is like, I went down to your shop. I took time out of my day to do the things that I needed to do. And Nick, that's not the kind of love that she wants or needs. And I feel like even Tipsy, she knows that this man is not feeling her like that. There's not any real feelings here. And instead of her accepting that, or even like saying it, not in the way she's saying it, there's a feeling that you get when you know that somebody cares about you. And that's not the feeling that I'm getting from you. So I need more. That's what she should have said. No, just try. Just try to love it. Just go through the process. We at the part where we got to go to the dresses and things and tuxes that I don't want to go because I don't like you. And I feel like as much as y'all don't like Nick, Annie is an issue. Like I said, I feel like she knows he isn't feeling her like that. And so, say that. All the drunk thing, y'all in these drunk conversations, and what do they say? The truth, the tongue of the drunk. I don't know. I'm not good at these types of things. What's up, Motown investor? I don't know. Drunk tongue tells the truth. Or something they be saying about drunk tongues and things. Hey, Elsid. So anyway, she's over here rambling and bambling about how he doesn't love her as much. He's irritated because he says she's putting words in his mouth. I think she's accurate in what she's saying. I think he has a reason, though. I think in the past, maybe he did like her. The way Kate was telling it, that ain't what is going on. See, they over here, everybody is talking. A drunk tongue speaks sober thoughts. Thank you very much, Elsie, because I will make up my own version. But that's what the people said. A drunk tongue speaks sober thoughts. That's what she's thinking. She thinks he don't like her like that. And she's not wrong. I don't think that he likes her like that. And I think he has good reason because her behavior is off-putting. All that whining and carrying on. I don't know. Annie's very blah. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like all these girls living their childhood in fairy tales and things is always going to be disappointed. For those of you with young daughters, give them different books. Don't give them Cinderella and stuff because that sets them up for failure. Give them Forbes magazine or something so they can learn how to get their own money. Then they can pick, with a different kind of picker than the one that Allie is over here picking with, for goodness sakes. Anyway, y'all saying hey and what have you over in the chat. It's really weird seeing her keep telling him how much she loves him, and she doesn't, as much as he's trying to tell her, girl, this is not it. I'm not feeling it. This is like going to the whole altar thing. I think this is where we cut it off. No, just try. He said to her, how long do you want to drag this out? Annie, you want him to take you over to the wedding dress store for what? So y'all can what? Get your heart broken afterwards? He's saying it now. And as much as y'all saying Nick was playing games, whatever, he wasn't the only one playing games. This games was being played over there. What's up, KB? Because she playing too. So I don't know. Like, is Nick a likable person? I don't know. Not necessarily. I feel like maybe he's coming off fake because Nick is trying to play a part for his parents. Like he's used to playing this role. I feel like there's a lot of perfection expected from him based on the way, when his mother was talking, and he has a tendency to keep things in. And his response was, I know, I'm aware, that's a flaw of mine. So there's something going on with Nick where he's used to acting like what he thinks is supposed to look like a man, and that's not saying he isn't, because he obviously is, but I think he's been performing his whole life to and even if the man is not gay, because he's not said that, and he's obviously over here picking a wife, even if he's not gay, his behaviors are feminine. And so you run into situations where, your parents are like, don't walk like that. Don't sit like that. That's like a girl, him, not being allowed to be himself. If you're kind of a creative kid and a goofy kid. Me and my daughter had this conversation on a walk yesterday. She was talking about being in school because she did virtual school. And she said, just wondering like that experience, like what would her friend group look like? And she's an artsy kid. And I was like, you would probably connect with the other artsy kids and y'all would sit around and talk shit about, the cheerleaders and the fake people that's over there pretending, So, yeah, I just feel like Nick has always been, is not necessarily fake. He's just used to playing a role to appease the people around him. But he's not, leading this girl on to the point where how far are we supposed to take this? Because you come outside the pods, you go on the trip, and you see like what that's supposed to look like. You know what I'm saying? Y'all being in physical space with just each other, the world is still kind of shut out. It's a romantic setting, so if you're having romantic feelings, you're going to act on those. According to her, he was like, knocking the backside of things. So go Nick. I mean, he's an athlete. I'm sure he can. I feel like he's qualified. That's all I'm saying. She was the one crashing out. You don't like me. I don't think you like me. If that's how you feel, Annie, then you should be handling this completely different. It was a turnoff for Nick. And it was a turnoff. It was just like weird behavior. Anyway, he gave it a shot over there. And this lady is not something he's attracted to. That's it. That's all. When is he supposed to say no? He get down to the rodeo and these people, Nick is fake, this, that, and the other. He was love bombing. Okay, don't be mad at Nick because he made the cut. And there's 17 other people that we don't know that are in a cast, the cast of Love is Blind. We don't know them. They didn't make an impression enough. Nick did. So there you go. Like I said, if that's the case, all of them are fake. He's a little awkward, and maybe that's why he has a hard time blending in with certain types of dudes. Anyway, she don't want to hear the truth. She's sitting up here talking about, no, wait a second. I don't need to hear you tell me no right now. I don't need to hear you tell me yes. I don't need you. This is not a need. This is a want. I want you. I don't need, come on, girl. Nick is trying to enjoy his chalupa. He don't know what the hell. He knows she's drunk. So I will give him credit for not handling things the way Madison did. He's looking at her like she's drunk. So I'm gonna try to calm this crazy girl down so she could go to bed and sleep this shit off because it's irritating. And these people are 30, I think, or approaching 30. And at one point, do you go out that you don't have to be trashed like that? Like at the end of the day, Annie, you knew you had more filming to do. I feel like there's a certain time, like you don't get to go home and crash out and be in private. There's a film crew sitting here, girl. So this is who you presented. Annie and Madison are out here on the road of doing interviews, and they're trying to make it seem like these guys, Joe and Nick, are bad guys. And I unpopular opinion, don't see it that way. Yeah, I don't see it that way with either one of them. You can say whatever you want to say. Nick is over there with a house, not a 1-bedroom apartment with his kid living in the other room. He's got wealth, so he's definitely a catch. And we gonna stop acting like people gotta show up a certain type of way in order for us to believe that they like what they said they like. Just because he's, like I said, feminine doesn't mean he don't like her. Not attracted to her. I don't know how exactly, how to put it. Attracted to her. Yeah, I think he, anyway, I'm getting back off subject. He's tired of her drunk rambling. He wants to eat his chalupa and go to bed. So can you stop, Annie, for goodness sakes? The next day they're having a conversation where she's sober and she giggling and she think it's funny. Yeah, I get talk a little crazy, when I'm under the influence. He said, last night reminded me of the argument we had in Cabo when I told you we won't be doing this. We won't be putting words in my mouth. And if you think about it, if you're arguing with somebody and they constantly telling you that you said things that you didn't say, that's not a conversation you can have any type of resolve because what? I didn't even say that. Did I say I don't love you? I do. Are you getting on my nerves? Abso-fucking-lutely. Sorry. Anyway. He don't like her putting words in his mouth. I don't blame him. I wouldn't like it either. He said this last night after the rodeo was a breaking point for him. He went over there. He met the singles. He said, "What's up to Kate?" He don't like her no better than he like you, to be honest. So, and they're not a match in person, but it was cool to say hi. They have a reason for whatever. I'm sure we'll hear more. We'll hear more when the guys start talking because the girls don't know. They just know about what was going on the pods. We'll see if these guys were just being haters or if Nick is really giving them a reason not to like him. So, yeah. Anyway, he said this is her breaking point. He said he is not happy to go to the altar with her. Now she says she feel like I feel like you wasted my time. I mean, I don't feel like he wasted your time. I feel like once y'all got to the end, and I remember in the past, they had a lot of sex talk going on. It was a whole lot of corny innuendo. So were they getting to know each other for real? We do know that Nick preferred Kate, but the whole religion thing is why he decided not to, be with her. That was weird. Especially since she said he don't go to church. So, we don't know what Nick is over here doing, but you wasted your time. You came over here and you picked Nick. Why you do that? Because I didn't hear no deep conversations. You was like, when his mother asked, why did you pick Nick? You got a dog. I got a dog. I like blue. You like blue. We like the sunshine together. I like the beach. You like the beach. No, come on. Y'all had things in common, but what made you like him? You didn't have an answer. I like blue. You like blue. Girl, so let's get married? Okay. And why do you want to marry someone? I would want to marry someone if I was going to get married, which will never happen, but that's a different story. If I was going to marry someone, I would want that person to make me feel like he loved me. Period. I think that's a real thing in a relationship. I think you can feel it. That's not what she was feeling. Now, can these feelings grow? Y'all have not had time for that to happen. Y'all have not had time to actually fall in love. So that's a question that will never be answered if you're over here trying to find love behind a pod in 10 days. All you can say is we got a lot in common and we have a lot of fun together. That's what stage you're at. If you're at the honeymoon crying, Madison, then maybe it's not a go. Y'all over here, they're on these like other podcasts dogging these dudes like, I didn't see these guys do anything with Nick. What's his name? Clay took what's her name? AD all the way to the altar. Okay. Clay. And then he'd be out here talking like we want to hear his opinion about things. Clay could have told AD when she asked him, but he assured her that he wanted to go all the way to the altar. And I'm sorry, I want them to stop blaming the producers. The producer said I had to go. Okay, you got to go. But I mean, at least say, let me know. If we're going to go ahead and go to the altar and you're going to say, no, I get my money, you get your money. But at the end of the day, I'm not looking a fool thinking we can choose our own self. Shoot. She begging the man to try. The man said he don't want to try with you no more, Annie. He's done. I don't want to hear you say no. Girl. He said he's not doing the wedding thing. So it was kind of a secondhand embarrassment watching her sit there begging this man to do what? So while he's sitting there trying to get past this conversation, because it's not an easy conversation to have. And so, again, Nick gets my respect for having the conversation in a very adult manner while this lady is texting someone. And it said, she is 90% sure that there is no wedding. And the person was like, Nick. And she was like, yeah, I'm filming and I'll talk to you in a minute. So while Nick is breaking up with her, she's literally texting someone to have a conversation. Girl, you better oh, yeah. I mean, 90%, 100%. The man said no. He said he's not happy. And so, pack your things because it's time to go. He doesn't want to do the rest of this. And Nick got money for real. So he doesn't have to go pretend marriage at the wedding tuck store. I feel like, to be honest, it's just my opinion. If Nick is fake, if he is not fake, he has a good reason not to want to be bothered with Annie because she is not it. Nick should have been with Megan. I'm just saying. He might be a little too young for her, but they were the ones that were matched up. They said that other man, Mike, was a fraud. So we don't want Megan with a fraud. Nick has actual, coins, but, ask Annie what it's like. I can't see. And here we go. If we're talking masculinity, I'm not talking gay, straight. I'm talking masculine, feminine. Jordan over here is no more masculine than Nick is. So the idea of Megan and Nick is not that really crazy. Jordan is a little soft in the man department. Speaking of, we meet Jordan's parents. They were whispering. I'm not sure why they were whispering. These people are a little bit strange as well. You know what? Colorado is not somewhere. Sorry about it, Colorado. But if this is your representation, I don't want no parts of it. It was just an observation. I don't know. Y'all didn't think his parents was whispering? It was just a little bit odd. Jordan's mom asked, how did you feel the first time you kissed? Well, we haven't kissed yet. Nick, Jordan joked his way out of that conversation. I think that was I get what she was saying. No, Jordan, she don't want you to describe this lady's lips. She wants you to know, were there butterflies? Was it awkward? You know what I'm saying? What was it? They seemed like they like kissing each other. She was so concerned that this man was going to be ugly because Mike was gassing her up to think he was going to be ugly. When she seen him, she was like, he's not ugly. I feel like they do have a connection, though. I feel like there's a part of her that is tired of these jet-setting, playboys out here. And she was thinking, I want somebody a little more grounded. And we do that, I think, a lot of times in relationships. When one was one way, then you go to the complete opposite of what you were doing before. But that doesn't mean it's going to match what you got to find a blend. And the blend ain't blending over here. They trying to convince us, but we're not buying it. Yeah, I'm curious, Jordan, Megan, what was it like? Was sparks flying, or was just like I said? I feel like he was like, "Oh shit, she's hot and rich. What am I gonna do?" And she was all like, oh, thank God he's not ugly like Mike tried to convince me he was. So that's about it. They didn't have any real feelings because they don't. Because they don't. I don't think they've explored. Megan is over here because her father had type 1 diabetes. That sounds crazy. Can you imagine that's the reason why you pick someone and they put a whole story behind it, how her father was trying to reach out from her from the grave. If he was trying to do that, Megan, he would have told you that the day before you went. Like, girl, are you out of your mind? You want to go meet a husband from behind the pod? Stop it. I don't know who they're trying to convince more, us or themselves. His parents were a little weird. So I don't have any judgment on, I mean, that whole exchange was very uncomfortable. And it seems like the most uncomfortable was Jordan. He was very uncomfortable. His parents was far more relaxed than him. That's probably why he's like walking around like, hey, this man is eating grounded chicken in a blender with Crystal Light. Where have you ever seen that before? Is something wrong with his stomach? He can only like, that's to me like that's. I just need somebody to, break that whole chicken in a blender Crystal Light thing. You can eat healthy. I don't know what that is. And you do that on a daily, Megan, that's concerning. Allie and Anton, they get back to their apartment and, she want one more night, look, something, top the night off. She's not trashed like, what's this girl, Annie? He might get lucky if you get her one more drink, but he's not because he drank all the drinks. Anton, alcohol, it's a big question mark. Allie taking inventory of the beers. I feel like she was already concerned. I feel like that's why she was taking inventory. This is not the first time this crossed her mind. And so when she came back and it was a bunch of beer in the refrigerator and now the next day it's gone and she's like, I had 2 of them. Like, how much of these beers have you been drinking? They had tequila. They had Coors Lights, a 12-pack of Coors Lights, and they had some other thing, whatever it was she wanted. So he says she might have to top off. What does that mean? Drink the rest of what he's already drinking? I don't want that. And you drink all of them? Anton? And he's sitting up there like, this is why I think it's a question mark. He's sitting up there like, I don't know. What happened to him? Did you drink him? I didn't drink him. Anton, is there a mystery beer drinker, tequila drinker in the refrigerator? Now, this is what I thought was weird. He said him and Patrick had some of them. And she said Patrick was here. And instead of him just saying, yeah, yes, Patrick was here. Hey, Shayna. Yes, Patrick was here. Why is he lying? That shouldn't have been a lie. See, a lying liar who lies will lie about stupid shit like that. Now you got her feeling like, so what's up with that? You didn't tell me Patrick came over? She was mad Patrick came to see the mess. I would probably be mad too, but Anton, that's your company. Clean up. I don't think, is she really mad about the mess? Because she's like, yeah, it's going to be messy if you waiting on me to clean it up. I don't know why he lied about Anton. So, I mean, about his friend, Patrick. So him and Patrick had some of whatever. Now she done did the inventory. There's 37 beers and a tequila in the refrigerator. Now there's none. And you went down to the parking lot. Where was y'all outside public drinking at? Anton, story sounds stupid. You should have just said yes, because he did. He came up to the break. Come on up. She's not home. We can have a few beers, watch some titties on, internet. I don't know what him and Patrick be doing down to the strip bar and drinking out liquor in the refrigerator. Patrick is his drinking friend, so he's probably not like the one you're gonna want around so much. But I don't know. That was funny. I was like, bro, you lying. And now you're lying. And she's like, going to have another question. And it's going to make you look stupid. Just when I said that, she said, No, it was him. He said, "You be drinking and the laundry's dirty. Is this your behavior? When you just don't pick up your stuff?" And she was like, "Yes, that's my behavior." She said, "Do we have any tequila left?" He was like, "Let me go check." Anton, it's not in the trash. And because you and Patrick drank all the tequila with the other things that y'all was drinking, and you put the bottle in a different trash can because you didn't want her, because she would have came home and seen that tequila bottle in the trash, and she would have been like, "Y'all drank the whole thing?" She already knew the tequila was gone. She took inventory, like Elsie said. She looked on through there, and what did he do? Lie again. Let me get up and go see. Oh, yeah. Well, who drank all the tequila? I don't know. I mean, you drink, child. Anton be doing too much. His mother came to visit. This is before they did the tuxedo trying on. His mother came to visit, and her and Allie bond over, in their cultures, is as normal for the women to be married young. Allie was saying like her day over there wishing she'd hurry up, and I'm like, ooh, that's so sad. Let her flourish. I feel like she wants, maybe she doesn't want to. She's going to nursing school and stuff just in case. I think so she could say she's, a nurse without actually going to do work. But nurses work long hours, days in a row, 10, 12-hour days, day after day after day. So, I mean, she probably is tired. Now, does she throw her stuff all over? Allie, you don't have a hamper or something? Why is your things all over? We just need to figure this out. There could be a compromise. But anyway, she says she ain't worried about cleaning up that mess while she go to school and things. They both seem like they have a taxing work schedule. I mean, they have the same Christian values. His mom said Anton has changed. So his mother said he changed. No, he haven't, Mama. He had his friends around over to the Love is Blind house drinking all the tequila and the Coors Light and all the things, Coronas, everything. All the beers that they bought and tequila, he drank it, him and Patrick. So he has not changed. And Patrick's wife was in the bathroom telling all the business about how they be at the strip club. Every couple should say no on decision day. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to go. Word on the street is that's what's going to happen. I'll be happy with that because none of these people are a match. But in real life, I think this is how that would actually go. Like, we know everybody not going to the altar unless they're trying to get it. These people be on these shows trying to jump off onto another show. His mom said he been working himself for 2 years looking for a serious relationship. He has not, Mom. I don't know why he's over here. Because you know why? Because when you go on these shows and the DMs be lit, somebody already said it on one of these shows. How, once we get out of here, I think that's Love Island. We up. So Allie plans to be a stay-at-home mom. Yeah, well, while you at home, Allie, you're going to have to use those skills to do laundry and things because it's a requirement. I feel like these were like real life conversations, though. I did like the conversation between Anton's mom and Allie. It wasn't like, what did you feel like when you kissed each other for the first time? Which I don't hate that question either, but this is like what your real traditional values are. I don't want to work. And I feel like, is on board with that. So he's setting himself up to make more money. I heard him say, I can't remember if it was later on or in this scene, but he said he has a real estate investment business and his job. So, he putting himself in position to make more money in order to provide for this lady. He knows that she's high maintenance, and I think that's the kind of girl he wants. Because I say that because him and his friends stay in a strip club, according to his friend's wife. And in the strip club, there's women that have a certain aesthetic. You got to be able to pay for boobs, and the boobs need a re-up. You got to pay for booty shots. You got to pay for Botox. This lady talks for Botox a lot. So these are the kind of women he's attracted to, if not Allie, whichever one of those high maintenance girls he likes looking at, throwing dollar bills at, drinking about the tequila, eating the chicken wings and things down to the strip club. I mean, I'm not even mad at it. So we were talking about this the other day on Elsie's channel. The strip club thing is not, for me, it's not a big deal. I guess if he's always there, you know what I'm saying? If he's always there, it might be a problem. But for me, I don't. If your man is going to the strip club, he's drinking, he wants to see some titties with no conversation, then he's going to come home horny. That's how that usually goes. When you have a man that's going to the club, that's definitely a problem, because now he's over there actually getting in contact with people, and they be switching numbers and stuff. Like, strippers are very, very high maintenance. And if you're not spending, you're probably not likely to take home no stripper. So, you know, and that's just, you know, the strip club is not generally where guys go to meet someone. So, you know, that argument, y'all can miss me with that. I don't think that's clearly for people who've never been to the strip club before. So, you don't think Sparkle Megan will get married, but yeah, everyone here should say no. Absolutely, everyone here should say no, because nothing is matching. Well, when you're single, yeah, but I mean, I feel like if you're married or in a relationship, you shouldn't be frequenting any place like that without your partner. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't always be going out without your partner. But if your husband, your boyfriend, whatever, and his boys go to the strip club, then he's likely to just come home horny. He's not over there trying to pick something up. If he's going to the club, those are actual girls that's out there looking for somebody to, you know, what do they call it? Sneaky link up with. So, you know, you're worried about the wrong thing. For me, it's not a big deal. Like I said, unless he always at the club, nobody say you going to the strip club every single week. That's a lot. And if that's the type of lifestyle you and Patrick are living, then you're not ready to settle down like your mama said you was. Oh, Joe and Madison. Joe meets Madison's family, and see, this is this weird ass behavior that Madison be having. Oh, I just want to come up there, jump on you. I just want to get all up on you. And Joe is like, hey, we're at dinner, girl, relax. That wasn't weird. Her talking about how, and see, this is the thing. You saying all that stuff, and then you'll be like, you don't really be feeling me like I'll be feeling you. Nope. Because that's how you act, and it's kind of weird. Madison's family do a lot of squealing. Joe, oh, it's a man. Ah, oh, he's cute. Ooh, he said he like her. Eee. They were just very. Joe was probably like, what the heck? And the look on his face. Oh, Joe cracks me up. Y'all hate Joe. I don't. I like Joe. Anyway, I feel like there could have been any man sitting there and they would have still been doing that same squealing and stuff. This is the first guy. This is what Madison said. This is the first guy that she's ever brought home to meet her family. I think that's strange. Why? And I get like you don't bring everybody that you're dating home to meet your family, but my mother met quite a few. You know, if I'm dating, if we're going out and it's a thing, you know what I'm saying? Unless she lives in another state, then yeah, I think that's kind of weird that no, they've never met anybody. So her relationships have not been very long lasting. Wonder why. And it ain't because she's losing her eyesight. I like that she doesn't lean on that. I will say that she brought it up. It's something that he needed to know about, but she don't really do a whole lot of talking about that. Madison's mom's asked, "What have you learned about Madison outside of the pods?" And then this man says she crazy in a good way. Oh, she is crazy in a good way. Joe's mouth be moving faster than his brain. His brain didn't get a chance to say, "Don't say that. You thought about it. I was just thinking about it. Don't say it. She's crazy." That's what I noticed. We noticed it too, Joe. Maybe not everybody. It's a lot of Megan sympathy, out here where, oh my God. And this is the thing. I want to talk about this for a minute because it's on my mind. They keep bringing up how he said his typical type was more petite than her. She's not a big girl. So he said they were talking about types, and I feel like that makes sense. So, he's not attracted to her, and it's okay. Like if his typical type was brought up, that's fine, but he's not attracted to her. Y'all are trying to crucify Joe for saying it. Should he not have said it? Okay, maybe he should have kept that one to himself, but I don't have a problem. Did he say it to her? He did say it to her. He said, and they both said that they were having a conversation about, their type. If you're looking at Joe and you say, "I don't usually date like tall guys," or "I usually prefer more muscly guys than you. You're a little bit slimmer than the guys. I normally date black guys. You're the first white guy I dated." Is that the same thing? Is he supposed to be feeling, insecure about things based on what you're saying that your typical type was? So he did not call her fat because she's not fat. He said petite, meaning smaller girls. Like, that's the physicality. That's my type. Have you ever dated someone and asked them what their type is? And you're like, "Well, that's nothing like me." So then you must like me for, I think, more than one reason. Because I won't say just because you consider something your type doesn't mean that you can't be attracted to something else. I don't think he's very good at articulating what he's good at articulating. I don't think he's good at keeping his mouth shut when his brain is thinking things. Some things need to stay in your head. He said she's large. She's not large. I missed that one. I'm not laughing. I think she's not large. Like I said, I also think Joe's mouth be out of control. His mouth and his brain, their communication is not good. Because it's just not about that. It's about everything. He was over there talking about Nick and was saying things without saying anything. He was also a little tipsy, but anyway. He can't really articulate what it is, though, that to describe her and her personality. Her mother insisted. Her mother says she's fiery. Is she giving fiery? I don't think she's fiery. I think he had it right the first time. She's crazy. It's just you can't tell somebody's mama that their daughter is crazy. You have to, figure something else. Fiery? Okay. Sensitive? He could have said she was sensitive because her ass is always crying. Her mother gave him instructions. If she gets all crazy, you got to hug her like a straitjacket. Hold on to her until she lets go. Okay. What if I don't want to? What if, she's being crazy and I'm being irritated? Do I still have to hug her? Madison's brother-in-law asked, "Does anything scare you?" Good question, brother-in-law. Joe said he was in a relationship for 5 years. Miserable. And he thought it was part of, being in a relationship. And so he was engaged. And last minute he aborted the mission. He was about to go pass out mail off those invitations, and he changed his mind. So does anything scare you? Sounds like the whole idea scares him based on that story he told. Everything, all of it scares him. Joe is young, and he was in a relationship with someone that was, I don't know that you would say not your person. This is not his person. But for 5 years, he was with someone. So I think 5 years ago, obviously, he was much younger. These people are still in their 20s. So it was probably not, it ran its course. And he was at a place where he's like, I don't want to. And if I marry it, then I'm going to be stuck with it. It ran its course. This one, never should have really got off the rail. He pretty much told her that. I think Madison's family, like, they're scaring him. His sister said it's a constant fight to stay married. You got to just keep on doing it. Like, the things they were saying, I would be like, oh, this is a lot. She might go blind. Maybe next year, maybe 20, 30 years from now. Oh my goodness, it's a lot. Like, and this is the thing. It's a lot to commit to in such a short amount of time. So again, if Joe, was attracted to this girl in any way or shape or form, he is not. If he was, then maybe the whole degenerative eye condition would be something he would not have a problem with. And I don't think even in this situation he's judging her for that. I think she's just not the one for him. Hey, Sean. Have you been watching? I know you've been watching. Y'all been over there talking about it, these people. Sean, do you think Joe is such a bad person? This is very weird. I'm not really that mad at Nick, and I'm not really that mad at Joe. I just feel like I'm out here on my own because these girls are freaking crazy. And so if you're going to judge them based on these two girls, I think they should run. El Cid is hosting the chat. Everybody say what's up to El Cid. Any questions? She can answer them for you. Anyway. I don't think Joe likes confrontation either. That's why he's always stammering. And maybe just because he doesn't like confrontation, he'll hang in there with something that he's not necessarily like. Joe wanted to jump ship, I think, at the engagement. But, it's a TV show. And he might be telling himself that I'm going to try it. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a different situation to be in. So if you go in there and say, listen, this is not typically what I would do. I did like her from behind the pod, so I'm going to try it. And if I don't like it, I don't have to go to this daggone altar with this lady. Everybody's a little tight and everybody's a little wrong. What you mean tight? I did too, El Cid. That's what I said. Word on the street. Ain't nobody going to the altar. I still feel like it was an experiment more interesting than the one last season. Aside from being addicted to Tylenol or Advil or whatever this dude was addicted to. That's the only thing I remember from last season. Dinner ended with her sister, my man, my sister's man. They're so excited that she found a man finally. I wish they would stop doing that. What did her mother say? She loves hard. She loves hard, but she doesn't love easily. What? Yes, she does. She's in love with Joe. She can't wait to jump all up on him and get all up on him at the dinner table. Is that love? Mom, how do you know how she loves? She didn't ever even introduce you to anyone. Y'all are, a mystery. But, they team Joe. So, congratulations. Joe pulled that one off. Episode 11. It didn't last long. So, episode 11 happens. They went down to the, I have this in, do I have it in order? Feel like I'm missing something. Did I skip the part about the dresses? I'm sorry, y'all. My notes are like all over the place. It's that nap I took. I shouldn't have done that. Anyway, we're going to start here. What'd you say, Sean? Yeah. There's enough blame to go around. Joe was drunk most of the time, and he knew that he didn't like Madison, and Madison was annoying. Yes. All of them were drunk, though. So he just is so funny when he's drunk. Joe and Madison. Joe texted this girl, and I'll get to the wedding dress thing. It doesn't, they tried on dresses. She tried on dresses. He tried on tux, and it didn't work out for them over there at the tux trying on, because once he got that tux on, he was like, this is as far as I could go. He wasn't as, he tried harder than Nick did. Maybe this girl really wanted to go try on dresses, but he got down there to the trying on of the dresses and things, and yeah, it was too much for him. So he texted her, "You are not my person." That's Joe. That's not how that's supposed to go. There's more to the story. She said they hung out afterwards. I've been around today looking at their interviews. She said that they went out afterwards, and she also said that she had a private dress fitting. She had a private dress fitting, and with her mother and her real friends. And then she came over here and she tried on dresses again. And they went and hung out afterwards. And when they went and hung out, so what had happened was, when they went and hung out, this girl Casey, isn't Casey the one that dumped Patrick after she saw him? Well, she had her hands all over Joe down to the bar. So at some point, Joe texted her and said, "You're not my person." And Madison internalizes his decision as what's wrong with me. And that's another thing. Nothing is wrong with you. He is not your person. I think that's the best answer that you could give. He went down and tried on the tux, and whether he wanted to be there with her or not, I mean, obviously not. He said that he was not about to be down there being miserable. And I think a relationship with this girl would be miserable. The way she'd be flipping out and crying, and you're not even hugging me and saying, you care. So she's a lot. Nothing wrong with you, though. Like, that's not obviously it's just not a match. That doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you, wrong with her. She was over here on this pod. I have to I don't know, I'll put it in the description, y'all could go see where it was. But she said somehow him saying, because they went straight to him calling her, saying he's used to dating petite girls. Now she's over here saying that she developed ED, which I think is really unfair based on what he said. This man is not the make or break. How you feel about yourself should be more confident when you're coming into a relationship, because something that somebody says like that, and I feel like if it were like your man and you really invested time in this, it would be different. But this is somebody who you met from behind a pod. You already knew, there was a possibility on both sides. You just happen to feel away. I don't know what you're feeling. It's somewhere under your skirt, because that's all you talk about. We're not going to cuddle. No, we're not going to cuddle. You can let this man cuddle and think that's going to mean something, because it seems like when they went out for drinks and they made out, and she keeps offering herself. If you text me and say I'm not your person, don't expect me to, we're not making out and all of that. She's trying to woo him back in, which he never was. You keep offering it, and he's drunk. Of course he's going to take it. And then in the morning, he's going to be like, that was weird. So you setting yourself up. But I don't like that, you're putting that on him as he's being the one responsible for all of that. Did I talk about KB? I mean, yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. My notes are all screwed up. I threw them over on the table, and I feel like I missed something, because I did not discuss KB and Edmund. I did talk about Nick and Annie. Just talk amongst yourselves while I figure this mess out. Joe and Madison. I didn't talk about KB and Edmund, and I didn't talk about, here it is. Whew. KB and Edmund. I'm going to back it up a second, because I had 2 pages of my notes out. KB is still upset from last night, and she decided to break the tension, because they're sitting in the house. Jeopardy music. Do, 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 do. Absolutely. Yeah, she was still upset. That rodeo night just broke up all these relationships, didn't it? He's sitting there. Edmund is giggling. He has a nervous laugh. He does that because he's like, I tried to talk to you. And this conversation made me so uncomfortable. Um, when he's telling her his version of what happened, and she's sitting there like reprimanding him like he's a child. Edmund, tell me what you said last night. Tell me why my feelings are hurt. KB may not be a social worker. She just posted on Instagram last night that she was a makeup artist. That's more believable. But you know how sometimes people like have a job at some point and, that ain't really what they do. I have plenty of people that will sit in my chair and go, I went to cosmetology school and then never, I can look online right now and see plenty of my students that are, working at Home Depot or something. And I'm like, so what was the point? You could have just went to Home Depot. But anyway, she's sitting up here like expecting something. Girl, it's his brain that doesn't operate, you know what I'm saying? Like in the same way. He's very smart. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's just the way things compute with him that are not. And I think Edmund also knows that this is never going to happen. This is never going to happen. You be looking on Instagram, looking at the Instagram girls and, she over here with the bangs and things, and you're not taking her home to Smash Town or anywhere else. He broke down other things that happened at the party. He was like that. I told Nick said, Annie said Nick was perfect. And I was like, that'll be cool. So apparently during this part of the day before the, rodeo happened, KB was definitely giving that something was irritating her. So they were supposed to get rodeo clothes and she asked him to do it and he wasn't doing anything and he wouldn't do it. So she's rushing around to get them prepared and he wasn't doing anything but wait for her to come home and dress him up because, she's his mom. So there's that. Anyway, they were mad before they got to the rodeo. This whole thing has really been unfair to KB. I guess she could have jumped off ship at any point. Unfortunately, she's still here and she's come to a point where anything she says is going to come off a certain type of way. Edmund just seems really checked out. When you start reprimanding him, it's just like how little kids do. When you start fussing at them, they looking off into space, checking. He's probably thinking about, I'm going to go to my happy place. I love to rollerblade. When I'm rollerblading, it's my happy place. And she's over there. Do you hear me? Do you understand? Say you're sorry. Apologize. You're not apologizing for the right thing. I don't think he's absorbing any of it because I don't think he can. His emotions are not, wired the same way, obviously. He apologized. He's sorry. He don't even know why he's sorry. He's just sorry. He just wants her to stop screaming at him. He said that she points out all the things that he does wrong, and he just wants her to say something nice. Say something nice. When you say, I appreciate you and that kind of thing, and you're saying something nice, KB, but you know that he wants to hear something that makes him feel like a man. And you don't see him that way because he doesn't behave that way. He acts like a child and you treat him like a child. Say something nice. Take that pick out your head. At this point, she's freaking irritated with everything. She can't find anything nice anymore. And I don't know how she keeps finding ways to carry on with this charade. He says some type of apology that made her feel better, and I received that. And this is the reason why I feel like, I can keep going. Is that the reason? Because I didn't hear him say nothing that would make me, even the way he talks like an 11-year-old. He ain't even got his deep voice yet. She talks about the future. He talks about the future, like them having kids, and They want the same things. They don't want it with each other. Well, he wants it with her, but she don't want it with him. And I feel like we can see that the KB is used to a different type of guy. She already came up with a scenario about, saving me in the club and that kind of thing. They're filling out their marriage license and then they go, to do the tux fitting. So Megan shares with everybody that she met Luca. She shared her experience with Luca. That was a positive thing. There's no surprise there. He's 5. So unless you're, a terrible person, and it doesn't surprise me that he's a good kid because Jordan seems very caring. It seems like to me, just based on the way Jordan was acting around his parents, not his mother so much, but maybe his father, seems like Jordan wants to be the father that his father never was. Because it seems like, he wasn't probably good enough. His father told some joke about, when your kids are terrible. And I was like, that was mean. So, yeah, I feel like I'm not surprised that Luca is a good kid, a pleasant child. And then he spends hospital time, and those kids are different because they, dealing with nurses and all kinds of things. So it just makes them a little more mature, I think, too, at a young age. Jessica asked KB's friend what she thought of Edmund. Now that was funny because they're in there getting dressed, for their trying on their wedding dresses. And her friend has already been coached. She said he's not her typical type. And she says, he's different. He's different. He's not her typical type. I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. He's different than what her typical type. And he's not like, an adult that should be, going to the altar. Evan says he can't wait to say yes. And I think he can't wait to say yes, honestly, because he can smash. She said wedding day. He said, okay, I cannot wait till wedding day because on wedding day, I get to smash. No, you won't. His friend says, I'm sure y'all can see that he's energetic. Everybody handling Evan with such kid gloves, and it's so messed up because it's not fair to anyone, honestly, him included. It just feels a lot like exploitation. It's very uncomfortable. Y'all got the man talking about I eat my boogers. They didn't even have to put that. Because they know, like he said that from a place of that's not a normal thing for people to be saying. Allie's mother says she met her husband on the internet. So this experience for her is not that strange because, she found a man and their whole, like I said, the way their culture works, man is the most important thing for them to have. Now, I think it's interesting that Anton was over here with a different buddy. He bought his mother and not his drinking brother. His drinking brother, friend. Jesus, my tongue. I have not been drinking, by the way. Yeah, he brought the friend that's like calm and not out of control. What's Madison's mother say? She said after she met Joe, she got no red flags and she got no icks from Joe. Remember, they was all team Joe. And meanwhile, Joe is in the other room looking out the window trying to see like what door do I go out of when I take this jacket off. Megan's dress was my favorite. And I mean, they were all pretty. They're wedding dresses. So it's hard to make a wedding dress look ugly. But I just, if I was going to be picking a dress, I'd like to make Megan's dress. But yeah, Allie's dress, both of them were pretty. KB, her dresses were all right. They just really didn't match her personality. Madison's dress was kind of boring. Both of them looked like the same dress to me. But yeah, Megan's was my favorite. Joe was in there trying on his tux, and yeah, we know what happened. He ran out the door real quick. Joe couldn't answer a simple question. Which question would that be? Which question was it that he couldn't answer? I didn't hear him answer. Like, they kept interviewing Joe like when he had a little bit too much to drink, I think. So yeah, he ran out of there like a bat out of hell. He got in his truck and he was like, yeah, I'm not wearing no tie. I'm not wearing no tux. I'm not going. And then that's when he texts the girl and say, "You're not my person." Um, yeah. So, and I already talked about how she, internalizes that. Joe cussed out his friends too when he do that. This must be information from the streets. I like information from the streets now. Do tell, he cussed out his friends. Why he do that? His friends didn't do anything. They held his life for him. They didn't tell that girl that he ran out of the just fitting, the sucks fitting. Um, Madison is heartbroken. We know. We know, girl. She's heartbroken. Oh, he told him. He told us to shut up. He was trying to focus in that moment. He was trying to figure out. Shut up. I'm trying to get the hell out of here. He's free. I'm glad Joe is free because I think this lady is a little bit unhinged. And I think being in a relationship is probably very toxic with her. That's probably why she hasn't had anybody to bring home. And I think people that have those types of insecurities are Madison's question about being in love with her. Is that a simple question? I mean, I felt like he did to some extent. He said, "You're just not my person." Anything else he said beyond that, first of all, you know what it's like being in an argument with Madison. She's not an easy person to have a conversation with. She'd be crashing out. Um, there's no real easy way to have these types of conversations. I mean, to have to break up with somebody. Um, By the way, welcome to the channel, Marquick. I don't remember seeing you in the chat, but welcome. We love to get others' opinions on these things. Um, yeah, it's not an easy conversation to have, period. So I can imagine like he's already doesn't like confrontation. I tried. I don't know really what to tell this girl. If I say anything to her, she gonna be, I can't believe you. She did. She cried and did that thing where she's squeezing tears out. Now this is what I think is odd because she said that she found out the night before. That's what she said on this podcast. She found out the night before, and then they came the next day and they filmed it. So what was that performance then? I mean, I guess she would still be emotional, but she was over emotional. She was acting like she never heard this information before. So, of course, she takes her ring off. Madison's eyes were open, but she was still blind. I did not say that. I did not say that, but you're absolutely right. I feel like sometimes intentionally blind. Like her and Annie both had this feeling like I'm all in, and they were not getting that same feeling back. This girl's over here talking about how amazing the sex was. That's all a really good thing. Like the conversations they were having, we've seen it. If he says something, she automatically turns it into a thing that, what is wrong with me? And you can't really communicate well with somebody that way, with those types of insecurities. So, it is what it is. He said, "Can I?" She was like, "You're not even giving me a hug." She does this thing where she's like crying, but she's looking over to see if you're going to respond. And my heart is broken and I'm dying inside, and you're not even giving me a hug. He was like, "I mean, I can hug you." And then, we still, not going down the aisle. Joe said he feels relieved. He probably does. That's like I said, it's not an easy thing to have to say that to somebody. I don't think he had fun hurting her feelings by any means. I think he's going to catch a lot of shit. I don't see it that way. Like Sean said, they both have issues, but him being tipsy, like they were all tipsy. So he goes, Joe don't know when to stop. And I feel like he might be a bit of a lightweight unless they was just, he was getting way drunker than everybody else. I don't think you should have to force yourself to be with somebody that you don't want to be with. So Joe didn't even fold his clothes. He was throwing that stuff in this suitcase like, I am out of here. Done. Whew, said it. I don't have to do this anymore. So Edmund and KB, they go jet skiing. KB, this is why you should just let it go and stop. Because again, every time y'all engage with each other, it's gonna be this you chastising him, and it looks wrong. The more you do it, it just starts to look wrong. Edmund is on his wee. I've never done this before. He on the back like a whole child, and she's mad again. They go have in this little cabin that they have, I guess, like refreshments or whatever for the people, hot chocolate for the people, and they sit out, and it's an amazing view. He said he's never done that before. Joe had another picture in his head before he saw Madison in person. They shouldn't do that. They shouldn't. I mean, you can't picture anything. And again, he said he likes a more petite girl. That girl is not fat. So, he's just not her type. She's just not his type. So, yeah, you can see the disappointment when the curtains open. They sat down, they're looking at the view, and KB says that Edmund acts different in front of the cameras. Yeah, he doesn't want to fight in front of the cameras. They were having, I think in the car, he was saying his piece and she was chastising him. Now, when the cameras come out, he's on a show and he wants everybody to think everything is good. And, okay, I'm getting this. The streets is talking, y'all. Motown Investor said allegedly KB's ex said that she was very toxic and had to wear an ankle bracelet for criminal activity. Oh, yeah? Well, cite your source, Motown Investor. It doesn't surprise me. I said she seems like her type, and I don't know this lady. I don't know her type, but her type in my head is like, street pharmacist type. A man of the streets. Not Edmund. Edmund has a type, I'm sure. And yeah, I'm sure he does act different in front of the cameras. I'm sure all of y'all do to some extent, because you keep talking about KB, keep talking about my former self would have cussed you out, but I'm going to talk really soft and really calm. Like, this is what I do, down to the social worker office, handle people this way. There's no romantic anything ever. Not once have I seen anything between these two that didn't just seem awkward. When she kissed him, I ain't seen her be affectionate towards him since the reveal. And we were all like, don't do it. He eats his boogers. I don't think Evan is equipped for these adult conversations. He doesn't understand them the way that she needs him to. I think she's run out of patience. I think everything that he is doing is getting on her nerves. Honestly, I feel like, girl, you know what's going on here. And so you can either let it go or follow through. And it seems like she's, continuing to follow through. Production put her in a situation where she was not going to find love. But I guess there's any other one of those guys in the pod that she could have chosen, but she chose this one because he cried. And she found out that vulnerability. I don't really honestly trust somebody that cries like that the first time I meet them either. I feel like that is a little bit of manipulation. So, if that's the reason why you chose him is because he cried, then, anybody probably would have not been the right match then, because people don't open up to that extent. It was 5 seconds into the conversation, it seemed like, and he was already crying. I don't know that conversations need to get that deep the first time you meet somebody. Evan is irritated. She's ruining his snowmobile day. He's never done this before. He's over here looking off the mountain, and she want to fuss at him. He already told her to say something nice. He said he is not sorry. This is him like lashing back at her. I am not sorry. I'm not going to say I'm sorry, to someone that I'm not sorry about. I'm not going to say sorry about something that I'm not sorry about. She got all worked up and called this man a bitch, and I was like, ooh, 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 ooh. That ain't going to be a good look, KB. Now that you got the man walking away with sad music, they be acting a fool with them background songs, and you don't know what it's going to sound like until it's over. Not KB's hairstyle. That is so funny. Ali and Anton. Good thing ain't no liquor in the refrigerator. He didn't drink up all the liquor. So this time his mother is coming over. They having a little sit down lunch. Oh, really? Edmund mentioned Love is Blind last night on his Instagram, saying everyone was sending him love. I mean, that's nice. What are you going to do to the man? They just totally exploited him over here. So, yeah. And this is the thing. I think he's smart, like she said, but we all can tell something is going on. And so her chastising him like that in a way that, she called him a bitch. Why? It wasn't that serious. You are expecting something from a man that is not equipped to give it to you. So all the conversations in the world, if it was that easy, then he wouldn't be in this situation. Ali and her mom, they waiting on Anton. They sit down and have lunch together, and they talk about her sister. Her sister does not support this experience. Yeah. Who you calling a bitch? Sister's not here for it. I guess her and her sister were very close, and her expectation would be that her sister would, come support her. Her sister was like, "That's stupid. I'm not doing that." Sister, this is not your life. If this girl walked down to find love, behind the blind wall, then that's her business, not yours. I don't see why you can't participate. That sounds silly. What'd you say? I'll say that funny how Edmund's allowed a dog to do. Right. We haven't seen Edmund talk about anything. KB already went over there to AD. Where's Edmund? Now we got to keep it quiet. Is he ever going to get to? I wonder. We'll see how this reunion plays out, child. Yeah, sister, get over yourself. It's not that serious. Her mama is good with it. She's good with it. Should be good with it. And to be honest, Anton is not a bad pick. The only issue really is Anton's party ways and, how he be drinking up all the liquor in the refrigerator. That's a problem. But based on, the conversations they have, I feel like they could have probably been a thing had they had more time. We'll see. Well, I mean, we know they ain't going to the altar, child, but I'm just saying, like, she seems like she would be his type in real life and vice versa. Now, Ali's mama has some interesting advice that I'm not sure. I'm cool with some of it, and the others, she can fly with that. She said it's important to remember special days like birthdays and anniversaries and things. And I think, yeah, with women, some women, that's very important. I like special days, but I also like, just random days too. But don't forget my birthday and stuff like that. That's rude. Hey, Tina. So she said, don't forget important days. I agree with that. She said, you have to put your wife before your friends. So clearly she told her mama that he had Patrick over there drinking up all the liquor out the refrigerator, and she didn't like that. So yeah, put your wife before your friends. But wife, I mean, pick different friends. I think when you settle down, you gotta let them party friends go. That man got a wife, but he's still out in the streets. It seems like y'all been shenanigans since you were very young at McDonald's and all of that. I don't think Patrick is going nowhere. So there's that. I don't know about doing everything together. She said, You got, if y'all go out, you need to be together when you go out. She said, if you're at home and you're bored, because it goes for both of you, not just him. You chose this life. So if you're home and you're bored, you need to find something to do, like the dishes and clean the house. She been that nasty. Her mother calling her out on TV, like, girl, go wash some dishes or something if you're bored. Allie, that's not good. Or hire a housekeeper if that's not her thing. I'm just saying. Like, if y'all are making money and this is the wife you chose. I don't have to sit around here being your housekeeper. I don't agree that she can't go anywhere. I can't go have lunch with my friends, mom. I don't know about that advice. Megan and Jordan, they're getting hats made for their wedding. I guess it's so, to me, feels like they're trying to find things to bond over. So we're going to go get these hats made. This was definitely Megan's idea. I don't think Jordan came up with this. It's a cool idea, but he doesn't do anything, and she's an adventure girl. She's still house hunting. She looked at a house. It wasn't the right house necessarily. She's into house numerology. I thought that was interesting. I thought that's interesting how you break it down. I mean, people got to be guided by whatever they're going to be guided by. I don't know that I would do it, but I definitely think I was like, oh, really? This is the house for that? That's information I didn't know. They talk about Megan's concerned about the touch Jordan picks. Megan, the man said this is his day too. He is absolutely right. And he ain't, if this man Edmund can be set free to pick his own tux while he was over there with no shirt on, we do not know. But if he can pick his own tux, then he's not a wild and crazy guy. You should have assumed it was going to be something boring anyway. But she wants to have control over everything because she's a boss, and he doesn't. This was never supposed to happen. These two, it's destined for failure. They play this game, favorite thing and least favorite thing, about me. And she said her favorite thing was seeing him being a dad. I'm sure. Oh, I'm so sorry. And her least favorite thing is he doesn't talk much and he doesn't share. That's a problem. I think it may come a little bit from insecurity because he has a simple life and she has a jet-setting life. They back at the apartment. Jordan is on mute. He said he's tired. And she says she's feeling understimulated because he was giving one-word answers. If I asked you something and you give me a couple one-word answers, I'm just going to leave you alone. I'm not about to keep trying to make you have conversation. I think Megan doesn't know how to relax. Something that sticks out with me about Megan is when they were over in Cabo and she said we were supposed to be a power couple, and you were I don't remember what she said about him being tipsy. First of all, everybody was tipsy. Joe, Jordan, Anton, everybody, all of them. Not Nick. He had his composure still, but they were all drunk. And I would say Nick was not with them because they don't like him like that. So he wasn't a part of the crew. And then, we got Edmund over here who doesn't need any alcohol to be turned up. But her in that whole power couple thing, it seems like Megan has a vision of what it's supposed to look like. And this is not it. And, so y'all are so far apart in your, lifestyles that how do you make this match? How do you make this match? Because she's not about to give up her lifestyle, and it doesn't seem like neither one of them should have to give up, but it's just so far apart and so outlandish that I don't think they're going to be able to blend it. Well, according to what the streets are saying, they're not. Jordan feels like Megan expresses herself in an abrasive fashion. He should have been over there with KB because she's calling people bitches. So be glad. Is it abrasive? Maybe, Megan don't know how to get out of boss mode and get in her feminine, what do they call it? In her feminine energy. She doesn't know how to do that. I think she's boss, 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 boss all the time. And she's living a lifestyle that's, like I said, not comparable to his. So he come home and he's like, I don't want to talk about the shop because you're going to just, maybe he's afraid she'll make fun of it because it's so regular, I could see his family, his mother come over. Oh, little Luca's room looks so nice. Like he living in a 1-bedroom apartment. I'm judging that. I think, Jordan, get a 2-bedroom apartment so y'all can have and if you want to live like that, then don't be trying to bring somebody in here to be your wife. He said he wants her to be compassionate with with his situation. I'm not really clear on what that means. He said he's not allowed to be tired. I don't think that's what it is necessarily. I think that engaging with her is exhausting for him. He says that he's not looking for somebody. He wants her to be his backbone and not somebody that makes him more tired. People that don't have nothing to do, and I don't want to say nothing to do, but she doesn't have a 9 to 5. She on the phone, she talking to people, what have you, whatever her business dealings, her money is making money for her, investments and things. And so she's not physically, he's at a job where it's physically, probably and mentally draining. So when he comes home, she wants to be entertained. And then criticize. Because it seems like that's what she does. She's on her bill demand. He needs, what does your jacket look like? What is your, tux? What does your tux look like? What is she's in charge. She's large and in charge. And he's, trying to figure it out. I don't see it working. I do feel like he said something that I ain't like about her, whoever she was dating. She's used to dating these guys that are like just setter and that kind of thing. And I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't think they can. So, there's that. Edmund comes in this house with flowers for KB. I'm really over the KB and Edmund situation. He's apologizing again. And so what is somebody sit down with him? Did he go talk to his friends? Seems like he went to his friends and they explained it to him in a way that wasn't like making him feel like a child, a checked out child. So he came with an actual apology, and it doesn't matter. She's over here saying, yeah, this is the thing that makes me appreciate you. And, that's not what he wants, but, we're back on because he's on a mission to get to this, smash session after the wedding. So if I got to buy her some flowers to get it, then that's what I'm doing. She says she's working with patience because, and she apologized for cussing at him. Yeah. You probably thought about how that was going to look. They go skating. When they went skating, I was like, I thought he was like, I don't know. He just didn't feel like something I didn't think I could do. So it wasn't that. He just liked skating. It's just fun. Like when I was seeing him skating, I was like, oh, so like it's like a kid for real. I'm all over the place. Jordan and Megan, I didn't really even have to get into KB and Edmund because it's a wrap with these two. Megan has a jet setter lifestyle. And Jordan thinks that if she's going to have kids, that she's going to need to slow down. He says he don't want no nannies. And I said, you out your damn mind. I know you can afford a nanny, but I feel like, I don't want a nanny raising my child. That sounds crazy. She's not raising your child. If this lady works from home, then she can have a nanny. Danny, where does your kid go to when now he's in school? But before that, did he go to daycare? I feel like, her having all that money is definitely, I I don't want to say intimidating him because I don't think that's it. But he did say that he wants to be the provider. And so all the decisions like that the person with the money is going to be making. So if he says no nanny and she can afford one, then she's going to do it anyway. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of she going to do it anyway. I want a new Lexus. We can't afford that. I can. I'm going to do it anyway. So that's not how marriages work. And he uses Lucas as an excuse. Like, I can't go play tennis. I can't do all the things that you do every week. So then why are we here? Because it doesn't seem like they're really willing to meet each other. And like I said, the gap is so far, I don't know how they would. She's not gonna like diminish her lifestyle for him. But girl, why would you pick somebody like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? This is why you need more time, because in the real world, they all say in the real world, this isn't the type of person I would pick. You know why? Because he can't keep up with you. You can't jet set all over the world when you got a kid. Yeah, I can if I have an Ampere and I can afford one. So then we all going to LA. See what I'm saying? And you can stay here and struggle if you want to. Seems like Jordan is kind of set in his life in a way that he's so young and can't see beyond what he's already doing. Luca has a mother who's also parenting the child. So I don't know what the responsibilities are, but Luca's mother is involved. So, you know, she has a say so. And she has a husband. So he's spending time in both places. She has a husband, he has a sister. I don't think that he's full-time with Luca. So, you know, you are like dead set on not bending about anything. You're so settled in your life. Like you could be Jordan. I'm saying you, but Jordan, he could definitely learn from her, pick up some, like, don't be so stuck in, I can't do this because I have to be at, you work on, 9 to 5, and this is the lifestyle that I live. And you're not even willing to expand to be, more. At least enough to provide for your own self. He said he used to be a provider. Why is he living like so low in terms of, I mean, is it just what he can afford? If I can afford a 2-bedroom, I got a 3-bedroom. If I can afford a 3-bedroom, then he can afford 2. It's just, he's just, his humble living is just seems so self-induced. He got his parents, like, you have a support system. So anyway, I don't think it's fair to weaponize her wealth against her. If that's the case, then you shouldn't come over here with this lady. And then I feel like him saying that all those rich guys that you dated before didn't work out. So that's why you picked me. I was like, is that why, Jordan? Anyway, next episode, we get to the altar. Who says yes? Who says no? Nobody's saying yes. Thank God for that. We want to see none of these people get married. But you got KB and Edmund. I heard Jordan Jordan and Megan, I heard, are breaking up right after this. And so just KB is going to say no. And I think Allie is going to say no also. Sorry, y'all. That was a spoiler alert. But I mean, are we really looking forward to any of these people getting to the altar? We are not. I made it. I made it through with a lot of stammering and notes that I lost. But yeah, I made it through. And the next time I decide to take a nap before I go live, I'm going to be like, don't do that. In the meantime, y'all, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hype me up, I guess. If you can hype me up, hype me up. And yeah, I'll see you when I see you. Bye, y'all.